Do you know someone who wakes up exhausted every single day? Someone who needs 3 cups of coffee just to function? Who drags themselves through work, comes home completely drained and collapses on the couch, and then wakes up the next morning and does it all over again? Maybe you've tried everything. Energy drinks, supplements, better sleep schedules, meditation apps. You started that 5 a.m. morning routine. It lasted 4 days. You bought expensive vitamins. Nothing changed. And days later, you're back to feeling like you're running on empty. I know this happens frequently. And maybe that person is you. But what if I told you there's a 3,000-year-old Chinese system that can help you access infinite energy? Not the jittery, artificial energy from caffeine, but deep, sustainable, natural energy that flows through your body like a river. And best of all, it's based on something ridiculously simple. This system is built on understanding your qi, your vital life force. But I need to warn you, this goes against what every productivity guru teaches about energy. It goes against hustle culture, the grind mentality, the sleep when you're dead philosophy. And it will require you to do something so small that you'll think it doesn't work. Until it works. Before I show you exactly how this system works, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment which time of day you feel most drained. I read every comment and your feedback helps me create content that actually changes lives. Chapter 1. The Woman Who Couldn't Stop. Today I'm going to tell you the story of a woman named Shen. Sarah was 38 years old, marketing director at a tech company, mother of 2 young kids, wife to a husband who worked just as hard as she did. From the outside, she had everything figured out, but inside, she was dying slowly, not from disease, from exhaustion. Her day started at 5:30 a.m., not because she was a morning person, because that was the only quiet hour before chaos began. Coffee, emails, trying to get ahead before her kids woke up. By 7 a.m., she was making breakfast, packing lunches, mediating sibling fights, and answering Slack messages simultaneously. By 9 a.m., back-to-back meetings. By noon, she'd realized she hadn't eaten anything except that coffee 6 hours ago. Lunch at her desk. Dinner microwaved after getting home at 7 p.m. Kids in bed by 8:30, but still emails to answer, presentations to finish, laundry to fold. She'd collapse into bed around midnight, scroll Instagram for 30 minutes because her brain was too wired to sleep, then wake up 5.5 hours later to do it all again. Weekends were worse. No structure. Just endless errands, kids' activities, house cleaning, pretending she had energy to be present with her family. Her husband noticed first. The constant exhaustion. The short temper. The way she declined every invitation that required energy. But Sarah convinced herself this was normal. This was what adulting looked like. Everyone felt this way. She had tried everything. A $3,000 ergonomic mattress. The 5 a.m. miracle morning routine that lasted 4 days. Meditation apps she never opened. She even went to a doctor who ran blood tests and said everything looked normal. Probably just stress. Try to rest more. The breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon. She was in a strategy meeting presenting a campaign she'd worked on for weeks. Mid-sentence, her mind went completely blank. Not because she forgot her words, because her brain simply shut down. She stood there, frozen, staring at the slide, unable to form a single thought. Her VP had to step in and finish the presentation. That night, she sat in her car in the garage for 20 minutes before going inside, crying. Not from sadness, but because she felt completely empty, like there was nothing left inside her to give. Her phone buzzed. A text from her college roommate Michelle, who she hadn't talked to in months. An invitation for coffee. Michelle wanted to tell her about something. Sarah almost said no. She didn't have energy for coffee dates, but something made her say yes. That Saturday, Sarah met Michelle at a cafe. Michelle looked completely different. Not just healthier, more alive. Her eyes were bright. Her skin glowing. She radiated energy. Michelle explained she'd started seeing an acupuncturist who practiced traditional Chinese medicine. Real, ancient practice. It had completely changed her life. Sarah was skeptical. Acupuncture? Needles? That sounded like expensive pseudoscience. But Michelle insisted. Just 1 session. If it didn't help, Sarah never had to go back. Desperation makes you do things logic wouldn't. Chapter 2. The Chinese Acupuncturist. The following Wednesday, Sarah found herself in a small, peaceful office that smelled like herbs and incense. Dr. Lin was about 60 years old, silver hair pulled back, an incredibly calm presence. She asked Sarah to explain what brought her there. Sarah described everything. The exhaustion, the brain fog, running on empty no matter how much she slept. Dr. Lin listened without interrupting. Then she examined Sarah's tongue and took her pulse in 3 different positions on each wrist, holding each position for what felt like an eternity. Finally, her diagnosis. Sarah's chi was completely depleted. And worse, it was stagnant. Her energy wasn't just low. It was blocked. Like a river with dams everywhere. The water couldn't flow. In traditional Chinese medicine, there are meridians, energy pathways running through the body. When qi flows smoothly through these pathways, you have abundant energy, clear thinking, emotional balance. When qi is blocked or depleted, you experience exactly what Sarah was experiencing. Dr. Lin explained that Sarah's body was like a battery she kept draining without ever properly recharging. Coffee didn't recharge qi. It borrowed energy from tomorrow. Sleep helped, but only if you know how to truly rest. Even when Sarah slept, her qi wasn't restoring because she didn't know how to cultivate it. This wasn't a quick fix. This was a completely different way of understanding energy. Western culture teaches you to push harder, do more, force yourself. Chinese philosophy teaches the opposite. Align with your natural energy. Remove blockages. Allow flow. Dr. Lin had Sarah lie down on the treatment table. She placed thin needles at specific points. Wrists, ankles, abdomen, forehead. Sarah barely felt them go in. For the first 10 minutes, Sarah's mind raced with her to-do list. But slowly something shifted. Warmth spreading from the points where the needles were. Her breathing deepened without trying. Her thoughts began to quiet. When Dr. Lin removed the needles 30 minutes later, Sarah sat up feeling strange. Not dizzy. Not tired. But calm. Present. Like someone had turned down the volume on the constant noise in her head. This was her qi beginning to flow again. But this was just the beginning. Dr. Lin gave Sarah 3 small practices to do every day. They would seem too simple to work. Sarah would want to do more. She shouldn't. Just these 3 things. First, every morning when she woke up, before checking her phone, sit at the edge of the bed and take 3 deep breaths. Not yoga breathing. Just natural breaths down into the belly. That's all. Second, twice a day, once at lunch and once before bed, spend 2 minutes doing absolutely nothing. Not meditation. Not relaxation exercises. Just sitting still doing nothing. Her mind would scream. Let it scream. Just sit. Third, when eating, chew each bite 20 times. Not every meal. Just 1 meal a day. Dinner was fine. This would teach her body to receive nourishment slowly, properly. That was it. 3 breaths, 2 minutes of nothing and chewing. Sarah stared at the simple instructions. This seemed too small. Too easy. How could this possibly help? But she had tried everything else. She agreed to try for 2 weeks. Chapter 3. The river starts to flow. The first morning, Sarah's alarm went off at 5:30 a.m. Her hand reached automatically for her phone. Then she remembered. 3 breaths first. She sat at the edge of her bed, feeling absurd. Inhaled deeply, let it out. Inhaled again, let it out. 3rd breath. That was it. 15 seconds total. She grabbed her phone and started her day. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, something different happened. On the 3rd breath, she noticed her shoulders drop. She hadn't realized they were tensed up near her ears. By day 7, the breathing wasn't just mechanical anymore. Her body started to expect it. She'd wake up and her first thought wasn't to check email. It was to breathe first. The 2 minutes of nothing was brutal. The first time, sitting at her desk at lunch, she lasted 40 seconds before grabbing her phone. The noise in her head was unbearable. But Dr. Lin had said, let your mind scream. Just sit. So she did. Day after day, sitting through the mental tornado of thoughts, tasks, anxieties, judgments. Not trying to stop them. Just sitting. By the 2nd week, something incredible happened. The thoughts were still there, but they didn't grab her the same way. Like watching cars pass on a highway instead of being in every single car. The chewing practice was the strangest one. The first dinner, she counted 20 chews for 1 bite of chicken. It took 45 minutes to finish her meal. Her kids stared at her like she'd lost her mind. But she noticed something. She actually tasted her food. She felt when she was full instead of eating until the plate was empty. Her digestion improved almost immediately. At her 2-week follow-up, Dr. Lin checked her pulse again. Better. Sarah's qi was beginning to move. Not flowing yet, but moving. Sarah admitted she felt different. Not like she had tons of energy, but she didn't feel like she was running on fumes anymore. It was subtle. Dr. Lin explained that qi is always subtle. It's not adrenaline. It's not caffeine. It's the steady current beneath everything else. Now Sarah was ready for the next layer. Dr. Lin taught her about the 3 treasures, Jing, Qi, and Shen. Your essence, your energy, and your spirit. Right now, Sarah had been restoring qi. But if she wanted infinite energy, she needed to understand all three. Jing is your fundamental reserve, like the battery itself. Qi is the electrical current flowing through your system. Shen is your mental clarity and consciousness. Most people drain their Jing by constantly operating in stress mode. Your body can't tell the difference between running from a tiger and answering emails. Both trigger the same response. Every time you push through exhaustion, you withdraw from your Jing reserves. To restore Jing, you need true rest. Not scrolling on your phone. Not watching TV. Rest. Your body knows how to restore itself, but you never give it permission. Dr. Lin taught Sarah a simple evening practice. Lie down for 10 minutes before bed with hands on your lower abdomen, just below the navel where Jing is stored. Breathe naturally. Visualize warmth pooling there like golden light. This tells your body it's safe to restore. Safe to replenish. You're not in danger. For Shen, mental clarity, one simple practice. When your mind starts spinning with anxiety or overthinking, place one hand on your heart and ask what you actually need right now. Not what you should do. What you need. Sarah started the evening practice. The first few nights, she fell asleep within minutes, which never happened. Her body was so starved for true rest that when she finally gave it permission, it collapsed into deep recovery. The heart-hand practice became her anchor. Whenever the familiar spiral of anxiety started, she'd stop, hand on heart, asking what she actually needed. Often the answer was simple. Water. A 5-minute walk. Close her eyes for 60 seconds. Not big dramatic solutions. Just small, immediate needs. 3 months later, Sarah's life looked almost the same from the outside. Same job, same kids, same responsibilities. But everything felt different. She still worked hard but didn't feel depleted. She had energy at the end of the day. She played with her kids instead of staring at them blankly. She had actual conversations with her husband instead of logistics exchanges. Her VP noticed. Whatever she was doing, keep doing it. She seemed sharper. More present. A colleague asked if she'd gotten a new skincare routine. She was glowing. It wasn't skincare. It was Qi. Chapter 4. The Woman Who Became a River. 6 months after her first appointment, Sarah sat in Dr. Lin's office again. But this time she wasn't just a patient. She wanted to learn more. To understand this completely. Dr. Lin taught her the principle that changes everything. Wu Wei. Wu Wei means effortless action. Action in harmony with the natural flow of things. The Taoists say be like water. Water doesn't force. It doesn't fight. But it's the most powerful force on earth because it always finds the way. Most people try to create energy by forcing themselves. More coffee, more willpower, more pushing. But that's like trying to make a river flow uphill. It works temporarily, but it depletes you. True energy comes from removing what blocks the natural flow and aligning with your body's rhythms. Your body already knows how to generate infinite energy. You've just been fighting against it your whole life. Sarah realized she was already practicing Wu Wei. Every time she took those 3 breaths instead of grabbing her phone. Every time she sat in stillness instead of forcing productivity. Every time she asked what she needed instead of what she should do. Dr. Lin pointed out that Sarah had come there 6 months ago completely depleted. Now look at her. Had she done anything extreme? Any radical transformations? Sarah thought about it. No intense workouts. No complicated diet. No waking up at 4 a.m. Just small, almost invisible practices. Just breathing. Resting. Listening to her body. Exactly. She had stopped fighting her nature. Started working with her Qi instead of against it. That was the secret. There was no secret. There was only alignment. That realization changed everything for Sarah. She'd spent her entire adult life trying to override her body's wisdom. Tired? Override with coffee. Stressed? Override with pushing harder. Depleted? Override with willpower. Now she was learning a different way. Listen. Align. Flow. She started teaching her kids. Not with lectures but with practice. 3 breaths before homework. 2 minutes of quiet sitting before bed. They thought it was weird at first. Then they started asking for it. Her husband noticed the change in the whole family. Everyone seemed calmer. Including him. 1 year after her first appointment, Sarah's company asked her to lead a wellness initiative. She thought about motivational speakers or gym memberships. Instead, she brought in Dr. Lin to teach a workshop on Qi cultivation. Half the executives thought it was nonsense. The other half were desperate enough to try anything. 3 months later, the CEO shared results. Team productivity up 30%. Sick days down 40%. He wanted to know what she'd done. She taught them to stop fighting their energy and start cultivating it. Now let me ask you something. You've watched this far. That means you're looking for something. Maybe it's energy. Maybe it's clarity. Maybe you're constantly running on empty and don't know how to fill back up. You might be thinking this sounds too simple. 3 breaths? 2 minutes of stillness? That won't solve my exhaustion. You're right. 3 breaths won't solve your exhaustion. But 365 days of 3 breaths will rewire your nervous system. 2 minutes of stillness won't cure your burnout. But 365 days of 2 minutes will teach your body what true rest feels like. The problem isn't that you don't have energy. The problem is you've been draining your chi faster than you restore it. And you've been blocking the natural flow with stress, forcing, and constant doing. You don't need more coffee. You don't need more productivity hacks. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to understand and cultivate your chi. Your vital life force that's been there all along, waiting for you to stop fighting it and start flowing with it. So here's my challenge to you, the same one Dr. Lin gave to Sarah. Choose one practice. Just one. The smallest one possible. 3 deep breaths when you wake up before touching your phone. 2 minutes of sitting still once a day doing absolutely nothing. Chewing one meal slowly, tasting every bite. Pick one. Do it for 2 weeks. Don't add anything else. Don't try to optimize it. Just do this one microscopic thing every single day for 14 days. And when you get to day 14, you will have proven something to yourself. Not that you have infinite energy yet, but that you can align with your body instead of fighting it. And that alignment is where true, sustainable energy comes from. Comment below which practice you're going to start with. Write it publicly. Make it real. I'll check back in 2 weeks to see who followed through. Because here's the truth that ancient Chinese masters knew 3,000 years ago. You already have infinite energy. It's called Qi. It's flowing through you right now. You've just been blocking it your entire life. Remove the blocks. Align with the flow. Become like water. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. More ancient Chinese wisdom coming your way. Practices that actually work because they've worked for thousands of years. Remember, you're not broken. You're not weak. You're not lazy. You're just depleted. And depletion is reversible. One breath at a time. One moment of stillness at a time. One aligned choice at a time. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.